Angle of decline. So the angle of elevation or inclination is when we're looking up. Okay. So what we have to do though is we have to draw the horizon. The horizon is an imaginary dashed line going straight out as if you're looking level with the ground. Okay. Then the angle of inclination is at the top, and the angle of depression is looking down. If you're depressed and really sad, you're probably sad looking down, right? You're hanging your head. So that can help you remember where depression goes, because that's the one where you usually make the mistake. Okay. Now we're going to talk how these two are related, but you have to be careful, right? Especially with the depression. Because you can put in your triangle in the wrong spot, then your hoe is all messed up because you didn't write the angle in the proper spot. Okay? So a lot of these you're going to be given the triangle for it or given a bit of a diagram. Then we're going to move away from that. So we have a 20-meter tree, 47-meter shadow. What's the angle of elevation? Always underline the important stuff. Okay, so underline that right now. Now, today, most of you will have the diagram, but if not, you're going to have to draw one. The part where people make a mistake is they think shadows are all in the air. But if you look on the floor, you'll actually see your shadows there. Okay, so shadows are always found on the ground or on the floor. They're never in the air. So, here we go. Quick little diagram. There's our tree. There's 90 degrees. And you have a 47-meter shadow, 20-meter tree. Okay. So we want to know the angle of elevation. Label your HOA. Hypotenuse, opposite, adjacent. Which trig ratio will you use? Keeping in mind you have O and A. SOHCA TOA, which one? Tan. So tan A, you must have an angle there. Extremely important, either a number or a letter must go in that spot, equals 20 over 47. Okay, show your work, go ahead. 2 lines of work, just like our quiz. Write the work before you touch your calculator. $23 degrees. Okay, 23 degrees. Good. Any issues with the calculators? Did you check? Are you in degrees? I hope you checked. Always check. Make sure you're in degrees. Okay. Next question, the kite. This is a classic. So here's your kite. Now what kind of diagram do you think you're going to draw? What kind of triangle? You're right. A right triangle. It doesn't matter how you draw it, but that's what you're going to be drawing almost all the time, is a right triangle. Okay. So we have 80 meters of string, angle of 40 degrees, find the height of the kite. Okay, let's call that X. Go ahead, label your diagram now in the proper spots. Okay, so there's the labeled diagram. Make sure you're labeled in the right spot. Once you've checked that it's labeled, label your HOA, choose a ratio. Go. Okay. So if you have a look, you'll see, whoops, undo. You'll see that it's O and H that we're talking about, so we have to use sine. So sine 40 degrees equals opposite over hypotenuse And so you should get x equals 51.4. And that'll be meters. Now it is a word problem, so we want a quick sentence. Kite is 51.4 meters high. The quick sentence helps us make sure that we're answering the question. Okay. Thumbs up down in the middle. What would you say? Okay, straightforward. Turn it over. Okay. Underline the important stuff. Go. Okay, so this one's a little bit tricky. The man is standing 12 feet from the wall. The angle of elevation is 62 degrees. Now the man's eye level is 6 feet above the ground, and the woman's eye level is 5.2 feet from the roof. Find the height of the building. Okay, so a lot of tricky stuff in there. Label your diagram with those numbers. Go. There we go. So we have 5.2 up top. We have 6 feet on the bottom. What we have to figure out is the middle measurement, then add them all together. So it's trig applications. Use trig, but you have to do a little bit more work. Okay. So on the triangle in the middle, here's 90 degrees in the bottom. Label your HOA. Choose a ratio. Go. So which ratio did you choose? Connie? Good, tangent. Okay. So tan 62 degrees equals opposite over 12. And so you can find the opposite side. So 22.568. Notice how I keep lots of decimals, because all right, my final answer is to 1 decimal, so I want to keep lots. So then for the height, it's 5.2 plus 22.568 plus the bottom 6 feet. $33.76, 33.8 feet. Now it would be better to be 33 feet and so many inches, but we're going to choose not to because it says not to. Okay, a little bit weird, I know. It's not the best situation, but so be it. Any questions? What am I, Ashley? Yeah, I was going to say, I'm missing the sentence. Good job. Okay, so the building is 33.8 feet tall. And that's a helpful thing to know, because then you know that you added them all together and you did it right, rather than just found that middle triangle. Okay. All right. Read the sentence. Think about a diagram. I'll help you with that one. Read the sentence. Okay. We need some help with this one, so let me help you, okay? So what we want here for this is you can do this a couple different ways. First of all, the angle of depression, 35 degrees, goes here. You're not really in the triangle we need. Now there's a little rule we don't cover anymore, but these two are actually the same. Okay. Your depression outside equals the elevation inside. And we used to do some parallel lines rules in grade 9 that would help you with that, but we don't do it anymore. So I understand that you guys don't get that, okay? Now what you can do is you can draw an imaginary triangle, and you can even find the measurements using your imaginary triangle. So you can use the below triangle, triangle number 1, or triangle number 2. Up to you. Doesn't really matter. I don't usually do triangle number 2, my preference. Up to you though. So I'm going to put that the lighthouse is 59 meters above the sea. So for me, it's this 59 meters goes here, from the top down to the bottom. If you're working outside, you'd put 59 meters over on the right side. Okay? So what we want is how far is the boat from the top of the lighthouse? We want X right there, from the boat to the top. Go ahead, label your HOA, choose a ratio. No matter which triangle you choose, it will be the same work. So it would be a sine. Round to the nearest tenth, please. Question is the depression and the elevation. You have to make that connection. So this was the important part of the problem right there, is to know that the angle up top is the same as the angle on the bottom. Or you can draw your imaginary triangle. Okay? That's what's important for that question. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, so for this one, you have to know how to use your compass. So you would be in the middle. This would be north. Never eat. At the bottom would be soggy wieners. Right? The old Boy Scout saying. What's the other one? Worms. How does he get worms? Oh, never eat soggy worms? Oh, okay. Oh, what's that one? Never enter stinky washrooms. Good one. And is there another one? Okay, you have to know that because they're not going to draw the diagram for you. You see there's no diagram? So it says ship leaves port, travels east 52. So start with a dot. That will be the port. Label it P. Travels east 52 kilometers. So that should be a line this direction. Okay, 52. It then turns due south. Due means 90 degrees. So boom, 90 degrees south. Travels a bit longer, 76 kilometers. So here's your ship. What is the angle from the ship's path back to port? So draw a dashed line as if the ship is looking at port, and that's what they want you to find right there. Okay, so we'll call that capital X. Remember, angles are capital letters. Label your HOA, choose a ratio. Go. Okay, so really important that you have a letter or a number where that x belongs. Okay, 52 over 76. Oops. 34 degrees. Okay. Thumbs up down in the middle. Perfect. One more. Okay. So Mandy wants to cut diagonally across a rectangular. Draw a rectangle. Playground. So there's the dimensions. Now look at your diagram. Put those dimensions in the correct spot, please. Okay. So long dimension on the long side, short dimension on the short side. So this would be 65, the short side. This would be 75. So if someone's cutting across a rectangle, there's the path. This would be 90 degrees. So you're either trying to find x up top or y in the bottom. Which one's the smallest angle? Can you tell by looking at it? Prabjot says no. I say yes. How many people are unsure though? Yeah. So I'll tell you what. Let's find one of them. Which one do you want to find? Taranji, pick. Sounds good. So we will find y. Okay. Go ahead, label your HOA based on y. .49 degrees. Now, remember what happens when you switch your angle? What happens to your HOA? It changes. So tan x, instead of being 75 over 65, what would it be? 65 over 75. So which one's a bigger ratio? Which one's a smaller ratio? 75 over 65 or small number above big number? Big above small is going to be more than 1. Small above big will be less than 1. So just looking at the ratio, that one's got to be smaller, and so that would be a smaller angle. But you know what? We don't need to do that because we know stuff about triangles. We know all triangles add to 180 degrees. So angle x will be 180 minus 49. What does that equal? Sorry, minus 90 minus 49. 41 degrees. Okay, so the smallest angle is 41 degrees. If you're unsure, you can always quickly check. Okay, you can always quickly check. Sound good? It's not too hard, is it? Just doing a little subtraction, then you know. Because sometimes, like I've done this hundreds of times, so I know. But you guys are looking like, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. Well, just find one, do a subtraction, then you'll know. Okay? I got no problem with that. Okay. I forgot a sentence here. So the angle to port is 34 degrees. Okay? Something simple and easy. Good.